Hello, everyone, and happy Motivational Monday. I'm Sami Womack from A Sunny Side Up Life. Hey, Janelle, I'm so excited to jump on here today. I've had a lot of topics kind of flowing through my head. I had like a big list of things that I kind of wanted to talk about today, so it was kind of hard to decide on which one I wanted to talk about today, which is not normally how it goes. I usually have like one really strong message that is kind of coming through. But today I had a lot. So I kind of was going to wrap them all up and kind of share with you guys what I've been reflecting on this past week, because today has been a week since we sold our house. So we have been debt free for a whole week, which seems like a lifetime. It has been a really long week. A lot of reflecting, a lot of kind of soul searching and deciding like where are we going next, and like readjusting and how are we feel, and everything just has kind of felt kind of weird. So I kind of wanted to just jump on and kind of share a little recap of what I've kind of been reflecting on this past week. So my husband and I went for a really long walk the other day. One of my best friends also babysits for me while I work a few hours a week. And we took a couple of those hours the other day and we went for this really long walk. We have a lot of really nice nature trails here in our town, and we kind of just like reflecting on everything. And I said, can you really believe this is real? Like, can you really believe we are here? Like, it's 3 years later and we're here. And he's like, kind of no and kind of yes, right? Like, it's kind of like when your kids are growing up, like, you know that it's been a long time, but then again, you're like, the years kind of flew by, and it's kind of both at the same time. A lot of you moms will understand what I mean. It's probably a lot of nonsense to anybody else. But the thing that really kind of stuck with me when we were talking was, he said, you know, it really wasn't that bad. And that's kind of how I was feeling as well. And, you know, when we first got started, it seemed really scary, and you feel like you're at the bottom of this mountain, usually a mountain of debt in our case. You're at the bottom of this mountain and you're like looking up to the top and you're like, I'm never going to get there. How can I climb this mountain? And then you're fast forward 3 years later and we're there, and you look back and you're like, oh, that wasn't really that bad. And what we were saying was, the year before, which I consider the hardest year of our marriage, the year before we really started budgeting, that was the hardest year. And I think that's so crazy that a lot of people will put off starting a budget, will put off starting their journey to financial freedom, or their debt-free journey, or whatever they call it, whatever specific type of money journey they're on. They'll put off starting it because they think about all the things they're going to be giving up, and they think about how they're going to have to change and how it's going to be hard, and but what if this and what if that, and I don't want to sacrifice and I don't want to give up. And starting it is the hardest part. The year before you start is the hardest part. When you're in the middle of it and you're making progress, and then you finally get to the end, that's so much easier. And that is a lesson that you don't know until you get to the end. That's a lesson that I didn't know. That's a lesson that I didn't really realize I had learned until just the other day, that the year before we started was the worst year, was the hardest year. Once we actually started being intentional, we started setting goals, and we started hitting those goals and making progress and being intentional with our entire life, things got better. And it wasn't about what we were giving up. It was about what we were gaining, even in the beginning, even in the hard times, even in those times of like really pinching pennies and clipping every single coupon we could and not buying it unless it was on sale at the grocery store. And those really, the thick of it in our budgeting journey, that was still better than before we started. And I just had to share that lesson with you guys. And what really stuck out to me was, I've shared this with you guys before, if you've heard me say this before, we had tried before. We had tried to start. Nobody likes to struggle financially, right? And we had been married several years at this point when we started. And we had tried to start. We would say, this year we really need to get serious about, paying our bills on time, and we really should save some money. This year it's going to be different. This year it's going to be different. And I think us finally hitting that rock bottom and where we basically had no choice was kind of what did it for us. But I feel like we spent so many years dragging our feet and being scared of what we were going to have to give up. And if I could go back, I would tell myself to stop dragging your feet. It's going to be better on the other side. And what you're giving up is nothing compared to what you are going to gain. And so if any of you watching are in that phase where you're still dragging your feet, where you're still not sure if this is right for you, where you're still like, yeah, but I don't want to give that up, or I don't want to cut back, or, I don't want to watch what I'm spending. If you're feeling like that, I want you to know that me on the other side is telling you it is way better. Even in the thick of budgeting, it is still better than that survival mode. And I think that's something that you just don't know for sure. Like, you can hear me say that and you're kind of still like, yeah, but you don't know. Trust me, trust me. In a couple of years, when you're sitting where I'm sitting in this journey, you'll look back and say, yeah, okay, Sami was right. I should have listened. And I just have to share that with you guys. So if you have been one of those people that's been dragging your feet, that's been on the fence, that said this year it will be different, and it's halfway through January and it's not different, I want you to take this lesson that I have learned and try to learn from the things that I have learned from. And, I always share with you guys all of my resources. And of course, they're in the description of this video for you guys. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be that shortcut that I wish I would have had. And I didn't have me to share these shortcuts. And so that's why I want to share them with you guys. And I just want you to realize that, good, Katie, I'm so glad. You're so sweet. I just want you to know that, this has been about 3 years for me, 3 to 4 years. And the really crazy thing to think is that the time would have passed one way or the other. And I could have kept living exactly like I was living. That blows my mind. And the fact that my middle daughter is turning 4 tomorrow. So I'm kind of in that whole, what moms do when their babies get a year older. And I'm like reflecting on the years of her life. And to think that, she could be turning 4 tomorrow and our life could still be in survival mode, or we could be where we are now. Either way, she's going to turn 4 tomorrow. Either way, we were going to be here. We were going to be in 2018. It was my choice what I did with all of those years. And it's your choice what you do with all of your years. Time does not care. It's going to keep going. We're going to keep getting older. Our kids are going to keep getting older. The calendar is going to keep turning no matter what we do. And it is our choice what we do with this time. And trust me, I am so thankful that I did something productive with these years. And you will not regret doing something productive. When have you ever gotten up early before your kids, had your quiet time, done your journaling or done your meditating or done your workout or just had breakfast alone and regretted it, right? So it's hard at first, but you never regret doing something intentional with your time. This journey is just a little bit longer than waking up early. It might be a couple of years, but it's so important, you guys. And I know that it's scary when you're at the beginning of it, but I can tell you with complete confidence that when you get to where we are now, you are not going to regret that. Who regrets being debt-free? Who in their right mind would sit here and be a week into being debt-free and go, that was kind of stupid. I never should have gotten debt-free. I kind of hate having money in my savings account. That would be ridiculous, to be quite honest. So I just had to share that with you guys, that I am so thankful that I got started when I got started, that I was intentional with the years, and that even through the thick of it, that I kept going and I kept pushing, and that what the little tiny things that I gave up were so worth what we gained from everything. So that is my little lessons of what we have learned in this past week. It's been a very reflective week, as you can tell. And that is all for me today. So I'm going to go, and thank you guys so much for joining me. And I hope that you guys have a good rest of your week. And I will talk to you guys soon. So bye.